Welcome to Squadron Scale Workshop. My name is Brett Green. On Friday, John Miller reviewed the new Eduard 1/32 scale Messerschmitt Bf 108 on HyperScale. This was an interesting kit because it isn't actually an Eduard moulding. In 2018, the kit was released by a company that I'd never heard of called Striped Fighter. I also managed to somehow miss the announcement that this kit would be released by Eduard earlier in the year as well. So the whole thing came as a bit of a surprise to me. As it turns out, I took a little supply run down south of Wollongong yesterday to a shop called Model Sports, where I was picking up some paints and brushes and odds and ends. And I saw in their pile of newly arrived and unpriced kits nothing less than the new Eduard 32nd scale Bf 108. So I snapped it up while I could. And I thought it would be interesting to share my unboxing impressions with you as well as we have in the past with a number of new releases. Now, the Messerschmitt Bf 108 was produced in 1933. There were about 880 built. It was originally built as a sports and recreation aircraft, and it entered a number of competitions and proved very popular for a number of record flights as well. It was an all-metal aircraft, low wing. When you look at it in plan form, you can certainly see the family resemblance between this and the Messerschmitt Bf 109, and there are some individual parts that actually look similar as well. The production of the Bf 108 produced after the war also in France, so it continued production. Well, let's take a look in the box. We'll see what's in here. This is the first time I've actually looked at the contents. And the first thing you'll notice is that in fact it's a different style of packing bag. I know that might seem trivial, but I guess it's an indication of the fact that the plastic parts have been sourced from this other manufacturer, Striped Fighter. So the first bag looks like it's going to contain clear parts. It does? Wow. Okay. So here are the clear parts. The canopy's big. That's a big canopy. So we're offered the choice of two canopies. There's one that is in the closed position, and there's a 4-piece open canopy option as well. So we can see they're nice, fine, raised frames, and there's also some nice raised rivet detail on there as well. So that's very nice. Let's see. I'll go for the big one. Okay, so here we have the wing sprue. It's going to be quite a big model. It will be the size of a 109 or a little bigger by the look of it. So the wings are broken down conventionally with a lower full span and an upper wing with two separate halves. John, in his review, mentioned that there's a bit of a pebbly finish. Yes, it is like a sort of a satin texture to the kit. I think a little sanding would probably fix that. But the panel line details are very crisp and very fine. It's not as good as a regular Eduard moulding. Don't expect that this is going to be, Spitfire /109 /Tempest quality, but it is still very nice, very nice. Next up, let's have a look at. I'll dig down and find the fuselage sprue. And once again, slightly pebbly texture, but nice crisp detail again. So there's one of the fuselage halves. We also have the undercarriage parts and the horizontal stabilizers. and there's the other fuselage half as well. So it looks nice, looks very simple. No inserts on the fuselage, just a separate cowling nose section there. Here we have it looks like all the fabric parts on one sprue. So we've got the ailerons, elevators, rudder, and we can see that there's fairly thin trailing edges, which is nice. And yeah, the fabric texture is represented by sort of the shallow scallops rather than fabric strips, but that's probably okay. Looks like flaps are a separate part too, so they should be able to be posed. Next is a smaller sprue that includes mostly the Argus engine by the look of it. So we've got separate cylinders. Looks nicely detailed actually. Bit of a firewall there. The following sprue has the seats. They look comfy, don't they? They look very nice. And we have, looks like 3 different styles of main wheel that are available to us. So one with hub, one with spoke, and one with a different sort of hub. so that's fine. They look good. And the final sprue has more interior parts. It has a metal 2-bladed propeller, sidewalls. It's got a plastic instrument panel. It's got that funny spinner cap. Actually, it's got 3 different types of spinner caps on there. There's the other 2. And we also have two. We have 2 resin parts. If I can get them out of the bag. Yeah, I'll just rip the bag. We have a very nice wooden resin propeller. Let's see if that will focus. Will it focus? Yes, there we are. And I love the multiple mounting strips there. That'll be very easy to get rid of. It looks like it could filter krill for a while. And we also have a separate spinner cap in resin for that as well. So I don't know if that's... No, my big head is going to make sure that that doesn't actually focus. So apologies for that. There's quite a large colour photo etched fret. We'll just have a look at it now. And this includes your typical 2-part instrument panel sandwich, as well as shoulder and lap straps for the front seats and lap straps for the back seat. We've got some pulleys and chains, switches and handles, and it looks good. Looks very, very good. Also, we have, as is typical of any Profi Pack release, the die cut self-adhesive masks for that great big canopy, which would be good. And we also have the Decals sheet, which says printed in Czech Republic, so presumably that's printed in-house by Eduard. Eduard Decals have been very good lately. I'll just take it out of its bag. It's got the nice protective wax paper on there. Yeah, lovely shiny decals. I think there are 5 marking options in here. We'll have a look at that in a second. But those decals look great. We have the typical instruction booklet with the parts tree on the inside front cover and construction noted by nice, clear, easy to follow diagrams. There's a specific guide for applying the masks. And we have, yes, the 5 schemes, so a number of German schemes, different colours. So we've got RLM 74, 75, 76 greys. We've got the early war green scheme for one option. There's an overall O2 scheme for another one as well. So these are all Luftwaffe, and were there any foreign ones? No, all Luftwaffe options. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a foreign service boxing at some stage in the future as well. So there we have it. Bit of a hybrid release with the striped fighter plastic and all the best bits of what we've come to expect from a Profi Pack release with the masks, photo etch and resin parts. And this should be a big and quite an interesting looking model, I think. So I will look forward to building this one in the near future. Well, I hope wherever you are in isolation or starting to recover, you're keeping safe, well and sane. Everything's okay here, so that's all good. And from Squadron Scale Workshop, I'm Brett Green. Bye for now.